Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newcastle NUFC 360 post-game reaction. We're talking about Newcastle United winning again. It's Newcastle 1. It's Chelsea 0. Fuck Chelsea. I've got Mike here to talk about it. I've got Stuart here to talk about it on another great day for Eddie Howe's Mags. Mikey, Stuart, how you feeling?
Brilliant.
Completely buzzing. I just realized you guys curse way more than we do in the other podcasts. It's great. It's fucking great.
We've only just started.
I just said Chelsea. They bring it out in me. They bring out the worst in me, but fuck everyone. I don't care.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy. I mean, I'm buzzing it.
Apologies for any kids watching. Yeah.
Mine are dead.
We won. So, lads, let's jump right into it. Yeah. We're going to talk about the lineup and let me know what your thoughts were. No Wilson, no problem. Chris Wood, how are we feeling when you saw the lineups this afternoon? Start with you, Mikey.
Pretty much what we expected, I think. I think none of us had any illusions that we were going to see Wilson maybe at all. So, it was pretty much what we talked about last night, just where he would put Willock and Joe Linton in. So, it was exactly as we expected. You know, again, a winning team, it just speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. But what were you thinking, Stu?
I couldn't agree more. Michael, I was fully expecting there to be something up with Wilson. I actually was kind of surprised he was sort of in the squad at all. Just like he's worked so hard for the England call up, and maybe this might sort of take rest their laurels a wee bit and go on Wood, considering he'd scored last week. But no, I wasn't particularly surprised to see him in the lineup. But we'll get into other things about other players didn't come on and things like that. But having Joe Linton again in that left wing role, or where he comes back a lot, again, not a surprise because he played so well the last time out. Obviously, he was suspended for the previous game.
Yeah. I got to say that from what I've seen, I wasn't at the game against Palace, but from what I've seen, no one really took their opportunity to get some minutes in the Premier League. So I wasn't necessarily surprised. Bit gutted when it changes completely the way that we play when Wilson's out, when Isak's out, and when it's Wood. He runs a lot. He tries. I didn't think he had a great game, but he puts himself about. It's about all he can do.
I like him. I don't think he does run a lot. I'm not trying to take the boy out. I do like him. He's limited. We all know he's limited. He probably knows he's limited. But I don't think he runs. And I think that's my main sort of gripe with him as a player is he's got a quite bad touch. Does. So he's just not as comfortable linking up the way the rest of the boys are. But he doesn't run as much. I mean, one of the first things I noticed when Wilson came on was he met the ball at the halfway line. And Wood hadn't done that in the entire game. He did, as Michael said, he didn't have a great game, but that's one of my issues. That he doesn't run as much. The first half, the ball rolled back to their keeper, to Mendy, who was, I thought, awful, by the way. And he sort of ran at him, kind of like just lackadaisic, sort of trotted towards him, whereas Wilson would have been in his pocket, like right on top of him, and that's not hard to do. Surely just look at Sean Longstaff, and maybe you'll get into him later on. Just runs and runs and runs, and yes, he'll lose the ball 5 times, but he'll win it back in our 5 because he runs so much. So I don't know. I'm iffy about him, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he just doesn't run the channels, does he? That's the thing about Wood. He doesn't like what Wilson does. He doesn't run the channels, and he doesn't anticipate very well neither. No. So he's just kind of expecting. I'm just going to be the big guy back into my defender and give me the ball at my feet. He doesn't really want to work very hard for it. I think that's just the way he is. So,
and Michael, do you think that's because he sort of crafted that at Burnley, where it's like just stand in the box and that's 40 balls a game?
He's not anywhere near as good as Callum Wilson. Obviously, I mean, we assume Isak's going to be better, but we've hardly seen him really, have we? So, but like you said, I don't want to criticise him. He's got his limitations, and it shows when he's playing with better players in a better team. Simple as that. So, which is everyone around him at the moment is just stepping on, and he's not really had a chance, has he? I mean, this is the second game he started in a row. I know he came on and scored a great goal against Southampton. So again, I don't want to criticise the lad. So he's done his bit when he's needed to, and we've won. So that's all that matters.
Yeah. So aside from Chris Wood, we get into the game. What do you think of in the opening first 15, 20 minutes? I got to be honest that going into it, I wasn't massively confident. I think it's just because we're conditioned that it's Chelsea and we always lose. But that first 15 minutes really settled me. And I started to do, when you see the lads passing it around, putting triangles around Chelsea players, the likes of Jorginho, which I could watch all day, just him trying to chase the ball and just chasing shadows. But it really made me confident. How did you feel after that first 10, 15 minutes? Did that change anything for you? Did you think were you confident? Do you think we're going to win it?
I'll let you go first, Stuart. Because
I think it can set. It did settle me down. I agree, Ben. It did. I thought we were going to win, to be honest. I called 2-0 on the podcast during the week. So I wasn't quite right, although it could have well been 2-0, could have been more. But you tell very quickly this was a disjointed team. I think when the lineups came out, I was confident. I'm always very confident. Well, nowadays I'm very confident, but then the closer it gets to match day, I get less and less and less confident. And then 5 minutes before the game, I'm like, oh no. But when the team sheets come out, I thought, oh, that is a very understrength team for them. Why that is has nothing to do with us. We don't care why that is. And I thought, these boys are there for the taking. They really are. And they weren't great. When the first 15 minutes, they were slow to the ball. Look, they were on the treacle most of the time. Our boys were fast to it. They were pacey. They were going at them. And again, I think I kept feeling that if we had either Isak or Wilson up top, I think we would have won the up before. There were just so many chances that they seemed intent on playing it out from the back, which I have no problem with, as long as you're not playing against Eddie Howe's Newcastle United, because that's a stupid idea. I mean, I was glad they did it, but it was a stupid idea because they will press you high, and if you want to play from back, then we'll just press you up there. So it was really daft. I think what I kept thinking was we will score eventually. It took us far longer than I anticipated. That's what it did, settle me down rightly.
Yeah, and it kind of leads on to the next point that I want to cover. It's something we spoke about last week after the Southampton game, is that we win ugly. And to me, it's not Man City. It's not playing out from the back in the beautiful little tiki-taka. It's just straight pressing all the time, demanding the ball back, getting it back, and then trying to create something like just winning the ball over turnover, which isn't pretty, but it's effective. Yeah. I could watch it all the time. It's not that enjoyable, but I'll take the result. Absolutely. But I mean, how far can we go with doing that? Because in this game, I didn't think we really created that much. We got that one opportunity. Willock put it away. Willock, honestly, before that, I was screaming for him to be taken off. I thought it was really poor today. His touch was sloppy. His decision-making, in my opinion, was pretty all over the place. It just seemed like he needed an extra touch. A lot of things that we've criticised Sean Longstaff for a lot of times before, but I thought he had a poor game. But there he is. What do I know? He pops up with a winner. But we didn't create that much. And, as long as we keep a tight defence, we can still keep winning ugly. But does it worry you that we don't get that many clear-cut opportunities? Like in the first half, I don't really remember much that Mendy had to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be on it every single game, are we? And especially against the good teams who do know how to defend themselves. So it wasn't too worrying for me. So because I just know we've got a goal in us. I mean, they're coming from all over, and when you've got that in your locker, then that, and when you've got confidence, which is something we haven't had in years and years, that puts the doubt in the mind of the other team, doesn't it? They're thinking, well, this isn't going to be easy. They know coming to St. James's Park isn't easy. They know the crowd are going to get behind us. And so it worries teams. We worry teams now, whereas before I think we'd panic and our heads would drop, and the longer it went on, the crowd would get restless and all that. So, but now that doesn't exist anymore. That feel-good factor is so strong that it must really bother teams now, thinking, God, if they go through the gears like all the good teams do, then we could be really in trouble here. And, today we didn't do that, but again, won ugly, and that is a fantastic thing to have.
Yeah, as Black Mamba says, ugly or entertaining. A win is a win. I'll take it every time.
Yeah.
I could not agree with more.
Absolutely.
I think Chelsea was so average. Can't see them finishing above us if Potter stays in charge. Well, no one's going to finish above us because we're in a title challenge, aren't we? So we're going to be.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, go on, Ben.
No, after you. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, I mean, about the start, I completely agree with what Stuart was saying about the start. And when you look at Chelsea overall, I mean, I've got the stats here. They had more possession. They had nearly as many shots on target as we did. They didn't have as many shots off target, but they had more touches. They had more passes. And the only thing they didn't do was make more tackles. And Jorginho is a fantastic player. He's a player I would love to. We want a central midfielder. He's the sort of player we have. right? And that's enough of the balance. They should sell Speedos at Chelsea shop, because the amount of diving they did in that first 25 minutes would make Tom Daly blush. The amount of time they just went, every time we got near him, they just went over. I thought, is that what you've come to do? I mean, your lineup doesn't look great, and you've come to play like this. No. You know, we're better than that. You know, you've shown us no respect, and they got nothing out of it because they put nothing into it apart from the last 15 minutes when they thought, oh shit, we're going to lose here. So that's me being kind about them.
I use the stats. How many shots on target did they have?
They had 2 on target and 5 in total, and 5 shots in total, whereas we had 3 on target and 10 shots in total.
I remember one of them, Nick Pope makes a great save from Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, that was a good one. And there was the only one they had in the first half was that Pope just like put into his palm of his hands. That's all he did.
I even count. Like that was ridiculous.
And that was it.
But that's the point.
We weren't a lot better. Don't get me wrong. We weren't a lot better. But they were just
100%.
They're just complete shithousery was just like brilliant. I just thought, this is brilliant. You've come here to do this to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right, yeah. Well, we'll see. And
bring it on. I mean, that's what you want.
Absolutely. And, you know, again, it's like Villa. It was exactly the same sort of game as the Villa game, but obviously we pushed on against them because we, you know, scored just before the second end of the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, Eddie's going to go, see this, lads. That's it. That's what they've got. They haven't got any more. I know that you have. So off you go. It must have been a dead easy team talk at halftime.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I want to focus on that defensive unit and kind of what Nick Pope had to do there, which really wasn't very much. And it was kind of characterized in that last minute where just it went fucking nuts. I don't know what happened in that last minute. It was really hard to keep up with. I'm sure Bruno, somewhere in the middle of that, 2-footed someone. He was already on the yellow, I think. So
they were flying in, weren't they?
Or what, but I'm pretty sure he went in 2-footed. And I think it was Longstaff ended up getting booked in the end, but it was chaos. But what I love to see about that was, you know, for like 95 minutes by that point, they defended really, really well. Apart from that one opportunity that Gallagher took, it was a good save. I don't really remember them having much else to do. And it's that defensive unit again, but defending from the front, that midfield 3 as well, always getting back behind the ball. And then it was Jolinton at the top of the field, setting up an attack. It was trying to play Murphy through, I think it was. The pace that he showed to get back in the 98th minute, I think it was, and defend was incredible. I thought he had another really, really good game. Not necessarily doing like the really important stuff, no, the really like flashy stuff, but the important stuff. His stamina, getting a foot in. I thought he reclaimed the ball a lot. I haven't seen the stats, his personal stats on that yet, but
Joelinton, you mean?
Sure it was a lot. What was that?
Do you mean Joelinton, Ben?
Yeah. Who did I say?
I mean, I completely agree. I say this all the time. Like, he might be my favorite player. I absolutely. I mean, there's a comment from Espelcha there. I completely agree. He's my man of the match. He's just phenomenal. He just gets he covers every blade of grass. He wins the ball almost every time. He's really good 2 feet. Even when the bad old days under previous managers, when they were playing up front, he still had a good touch and he still had good feet. He just couldn't hit a barn door. You know, as a striker, so we obviously judge him for that. But he has such good feet. He's such composure. He's so strong. You know, there's no. This is a different topic for a different day. It is baffling to me how he's not on the Brazil squad, and the likes of Fred is, and it's not just to raise one.
I'm glad he's not.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, selfishly, I'm glad he just gets a couple of weeks to be at home or with the boys. You know, like I'm glad, but. He deserved it, I think.
Yeah, he's a big part of why we can defend. I think it's the point I'm making. Yeah, you know, he was playing on the left wing today, but I saw him more center mid because he runs just so much. So you know, keeps coming back. It's breaking up that play. Look, Sean Longstaff again was really good. He loses the ball. That's something he just does. He does lose the ball, but he does everything else really well. His passing's decent. He runs and runs and runs, and he must be the fittest player in that team. Puts good tackles in. You know, he's pacey as well. And then you have that front 3 that'll fight and run, and then that midfield. When you come back with a really solid back 5, including Nick Pope, that's why we were was conceded the lowest amount of goals. And I don't know the stats on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was also the lowest amount of shots on target, because like I can't remember the last time we were peppered with shots. Like, Brighton, maybe like that's genuine. Maybe Man United. No, they weren't even that threatening. Brighton is the last time I can genuinely remember off the top of my head being like, "Oh, got away with one there. We got away with one."
Yeah, I mean, Stuart's right. Joe Linton, he was the best player on Wednesday night as well. He definitely. I mean, he's. I mean, again, this is what confidence does in a winning team. I mean, he's just everywhere. And Sean Longstaff, when he did that tackle on Kukuro, I thought he was going to knock him over the Millbird standing onto Barrack Road. And he just went flying. I thought, oh no. And fortunately, there was about, like we're saying, about 4 or 5 other really, really robust challenges after that, to the point where the ref went, oh, hang on. Well, what did you do? Which one of you was it? Oh, I'll just give you a yellow card because I'm sure I was going to give you a red because I thought, oh my God, here we go. But yeah, spicy at the end. But you see, I mean, with Linton and Sean Longstaff just trying to, I mean, Sean Longstaff is limited, bless him, but he runs and runs. I mean, I think he ran more than anybody else, didn't he, against who we played last week? Yeah, he ran like 12 kilometers or something like that, more than anybody else. And when you've got that in front of those 4 and Nick Pope, who, like you said, hadn't done anything until that save came from Gallagher, then, hard to beat. Simple as that. That's why we're so successful.
There's one last thing I want to talk about in that defensive unit. And for me, he was our man of the match today. And that was Kieran Trippier, who every week that I watch him, he becomes more and more of an elite player. I don't know. I've never seen a right back that is that dominating week in, week out. I didn't realize he was that good. I saw him at Atletico Madrid a few times. I obviously seen him for England. Watching him week in, week out, what was Spurs thinking letting him go? He's the best right back in this league by a mile. And we got him for what? 15 million, 16 million?
12, I think it was. Something ridiculous, wasn't it?
But he was unbelievable. He's been unbelievable for weeks. But this form going into a World Cup, he has to be a starter for England. I mean, there's not many right backs left at the minute, but he's got to start. Yeah. But yeah, I thought he was incredible today. Captain on the field. He might not be the captain of the club, but he leads that team so well every week.
He is the captain. He is the captain. But in all, he is the captain. Yeah. The way he conducts himself, he's the captain, does everything correctly. He leads by example. There was a bit where the ball went out. Can't remember what minute, maybe 70, 60 minutes or something. The ball went out and he had knocked the ball off a Chelsea player. They knocked off him and it was a throw into Chelsea. So he knew they were going to attack and he's running back. And as he's running back, he's pointing at 2 players and telling them where to go because he knows that he can't be there. He has to get back to position. Yeah. So he's Eddie Howe on the pitch. He's Eddie Howe's conduit or Jason Tyndall's conduit on the pitch. And I've said this before on the podcast and other things. If he doesn't end up as part of the Newcastle United coaching staff, I'll be flabbergasted.
Yeah. I think he's got management all over him.
Maybe coach first. He will be part of Eddie's backroom staff. I would be astonished if he's not already had that discussion with Eddie Howe because he's that relevant. Like someone made a really good point whenever Miggy did his wee interview thing about Jack Grealish there a couple of days ago, and he was speaking on behalf of a translator, and someone said, "Oh, but surely he speaks to people in English." And there was that discussion. Someone made the point that they've been to the games and heard Trippier shouting to Miggy in Spanish because he speaks Spanish, and that's just class. Like that's brilliant. You're a guy from Burnley, from that sort of area, isn't he? Like Burnley area. Yeah, he speaks Spanish, and he's been to Spain. He's a seasoned pro. I couldn't agree more, Ben. He was absolutely phenomenal and consistently is. They called him before the game. They said he's been a complete right back, like everything forward and back. He's phenomenal.
Yeah. I didn't realize he attacked as much as he does. Like he's been the outlet on the right that would be missing. And that and him in his combination with Miggy and Bruno in the middle it's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
I mean, go on. No, I was just going to agree with Stuart and saying, you wouldn't believe there's a World Cup next week. The way he played. I mean, I won't mention Chelsea players' names, but apparently one of them had a headache. If that's something more serious than that, I apologise. But apparently he didn't even get in the squad because he wasn't feeling it. Well, Kieran Trippier was feeling it, and Gareth Southgate must have been. Well, you said that, not me. But Southgate must have been on the phone to Eddie saying, "Can you just remind him there's a World Cup in like 8 days, please?" Because he just didn't give a shit. He was just like, "I'm having this today. This is I'll worry about that tomorrow." Where other players haven't played, he was like, no, I'm not doing that. This is more.
Yeah, important. I wasn't speculating, by the way. That was on the commentary over here on NBC. They said it was Raheem Sterling's out with headaches. So I was like,
well, yes.
This is what they said on the commentary. I take no answer for that.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to say it was Sterling. Apparently, that's what I was told. I apologise if it's more than that and, something awful's happened to him. But, apparently he had a bit of an headache. So, there you are. Look at Kieran Trippier. Yeah. Right. Raheem.
All right, Maggie. I've got
Rant
a very
over.
special question. I've got a special question for you, as I know this is something you want to talk about. When you get a victory, doesn't it just feel better when we beat Chelsea?
Yeah.
Tell me about your love of Chelsea.
I love Chelsea. I think their stadium's great. I think their philosophy of like how they play is great. I think that the whole sort of club itself is great. I think their supporters are great. And I mean, we're just replacing Leeds United, aren't we? When I think it comes between that. I mean, that showed at the end, after the Havertz thing last year when he tried to knock Dan Burns' head off and then went and scored the goal. That, Bernard kept that.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
So
yeah, like that.
Like we don't like them. And everything I said about that is the actual opposite of what I think. So because they are just, they never put themselves in glory, in my opinion.
I don't like the players. I don't like a lot of their fans. I've got one of my best mates is a Chelsea fan, and I had to have a little dig after this one and just told him it's all right. Like going to these top 4 teams and coming away with a 1-0 loss, it's nothing to be too mad at yourself about. But it just felt so good that they're down there in 7th and we're a top 3 team.
Yeah, Pot reminded me a bit of Liz Truss on the sidelines. He was a bit like,
just lost.
Someone tell me what to do, because I'm not. He didn't look startled. He just kind of looked a bit, lost, a bit sort of like, and they're going to really run out of patience with him very quickly. So
yeah, I mean they finished 3rd last year, and they spent 275 million in the summer.
Yeah,
so everyone goes on about us spending
pretty badly.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Well, they're right. We haven't won anything.
Defenders.
Oh no, but the fact that we are now higher than them, we're doing better. I don't want to drag us into us versus them sort of thing. But no, I just.
No, I do.
Horrible. Oh yeah,
I do that all day. That's what we do. That's what we do on the reaction, Stuart. We go in for that.
That's totally fine.
I mean, I'm gutted. Out of all the ones I wanted to go to, this is the one I wanted to go to, and I couldn't go to it out of all the games, and this is the one. So I was just sucking that ball every moment. I was kicking every ball with that, and when all that kicked off, like I said, that Cucurella thing, I was just like, yes, get in. And when a little doubt came in, thinking, oh god, I hope Sean doesn't get sent off here. So, but yeah, I mean, brilliant beating a team like that. Yeah, we've won nothing before they write in. Yeah, we haven't won anything yet. So, but
I'm blinded. I think I like Potter. I don't mean I like him necessarily. I mean, I do. I think he's a very good coach. I think he has a style. He's struggling to impress that upon the players that are there, and that's probably well exemplified by the fact that a lot of them are out with headaches and sore eyebrows and false teeth on it or something. Player parlor. I think someone put it in the chat at some point. No, I don't like them, but I like a lot of clubs less. But I don't like them particularly. I think when they were better, I just like them. They've been so up and down sort of recently that I'm like, I don't care. It's a bit like Man United. Like I grew up as a kid in the 90s, and Man United were the best team in the world, best team in the Premier League, blah blah blah. So I hated them because their fans were insufferable. They were everywhere. Like I'm obviously from Northern Ireland, and
like
everyone in Northern Ireland just supports a Premier League team. That's just what happens. So everybody in my school was either a Liverpool fan or a Man United fan, with the majority being Man United. So I was literally the only Newcastle fan. So it was pretty insufferable. The thing is, what we're getting to there is Man United are shite now, and I still hate them, and I shouldn't hate them.
I hate them a lot less now. Put it like that.
Well, I didn't mind Chelsea until I got a Chelsea mate, and then they just.
Well,
all right, Stuart. One more question for you. This is something we touched on. Sorry, this is something we touched on last week on the match reaction, Stuart. Which obviously you went on that one. So on this one, we're going to ask you this time. Is the title challenge on?
Yes. But this is a discussion. This is a discussion. The
podcast.
That's
it. That's all we've got time for. Yes, is the answer.
It is. It is. It has to be. You just have to look at the numbers and the points we have and the way we're playing and who we've beat. It is on because, and we said this during the week on ours. Out of the 4 people on it, including myself, I was the only one that said it is on. All 3 of them were very sensible and measured and said, "Well, now I know we'll have a check." And I said, "No, it's totally on," because the question I asked is, "Who's going to beat us?" And I still haven't seen that. Man City, well, when we played them for the first couple of weeks, where they were the best team in the league, and they were. Hallam was scoring for fun. Could beat today by Brentford. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they've been poor recent for the past couple of games. Like got out of jail against Fulham, really got out of jail against Fulham. So they've been poor. Arsenal, they look good, don't get me wrong, but it's Arsenal, lads. It's Arsenal. They'll fall apart. They're bound to fall apart. Clip this when they win the treble or something. But it's Arsenal. So I'm like, who's going to beat us? You know, the only team sort of thing, I could see maybe is the likes of maybe if Liverpool go on a big massive run and players come back and Nunes scored 2 today, maybe he starts taking off, maybe. But I don't know. We're just defensively rock solid. We're playing really well. Isak, I think, looks amazing. I know he's played 3 games, scored 2 goals. That's some return for a kid. He's like 22. Comes back, fighting fit. Eddie has plenty of time to work with them all over the World Cup. And I genuinely believe that in January, that the owners are going to go, all right, we're 3 years ahead of schedule, are we?
Yeah.
Here's a big chunk of cash. Maybe the fact that Saudi Air or whatever it was all over the stadium today. They're like, well, let's push this through a little bit quicker than what we're going to. Here's a big bag of cash. Go and get another holding midfielder. Go and get another winger. Go and get some cover or things for this. I love Sean Longstaff. Love him. I think he's great. I love Joe Willock as well. Both been phenomenal. What a goal that was, by the way. Fantastic finish. But you imagine replacing those 2 players with players the caliber of like Bruno and what Eddie Howe can do with them. And that, I just think it's on. I don't think we'll win it because I'm pessimistic. I'm a Newcastle fan and nothing that good could ever happen to our club. But I think we're definitely up there in the conversation. And, the teams around us now are watching our results. You guarantee you that Arsenal fans will look tonight and went, shit, whenever we've won that game. Because they're all right. City fans definitely are 3 points behind them. They've got the game in hand on us. I understand that. But I don't know. We're in it. We are in it. And we're going to have a lovely Christmas in 3rd place.
Thank you for mentioning the goal. We probably should have mentioned that with it being a match reaction. But yeah, good on you.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right, lads. Well, another 1-0 win for Newcastle. We're going to be 3rd at Christmas, win those Champions League positions. Hopefully the lads will go away, have a good World Cup, and the owners will start putting some January transfer plans together. We'll go get those in those big purchases you were just talking about with that big bag of money we're going to get from all that lovely oil money that we're going to generate. All right, lads, Thank you very much for it. It's been a pleasure. It's probably not going to be another one for about a month, I would have thought, until after the World Cup. So I hope you all keep well. Enjoy the World Cup. And we'll see you next time after the next game.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.
Night all.
Hiya.